Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the Sports Animal. Welcome back, OKPREPS Roundup here on your home for sports, the Sports Animal, as well as streaming online on the OKPREPS Network. You can go to okpreps.tv/roundup and check out the live streaming of the show. If you don't want to just listen along, you can watch the program live here in studio on the 55th floor of the Sports Animal. Joining us now in segment number 2 of hour number 1 of this edition of the OKPREPS Roundup is Stillwater baseball coach Jimmy Harris. His team are the defending Class 6A state champs, and they're off to another good start this year. Coach, first off, thanks for taking some time this morning to join us here on the program.
Thank you for having me on.
Well, Coach, you're definitely no stranger to this show. We had you on several times last year as your team went and made a run to the state championship. You won it all. How has things changed with this year's club to last year as you guys were in pursuit to try to knock off some of the best teams in 6A, like a Broken Arrow, like an Owasso, like a Jinx? How have things changed within your program from last year to this year?
Well, some things have changed and some haven't. We still have some of the same goals. We still want to host the region. We still want to make it to the state tournament, and then ultimately we would love to win the state championship again. Those goals really haven't changed. The way we're attacking those, the way that we're pursuing those are a little bit different, just because our team is made up a little bit different. So that's kind of the difference for this year.
And how does this year's team, personnel-wise, compare to the team from a year ago?
Well, the main thing for us is we have 4 returning guys off of last year's team, so that means there's a lot of new faces, which I think a lot of programs. I'm new to Oklahoma, but I think a lot of programs are kind of go through that same thing. And so what we're finding out is we have good players. We have capable players that can do a good job, and we have college players that come up that weren't on last year's team that are going to go play college baseball somewhere. So what we're finding out is inexperience from varsity play is probably the biggest thing that we got to overcome, and the way you overcome that is by playing games, and that's what we're doing.
Hey Jimmy, it's Ben Johnson. Thanks for joining us today. When I had a chance to talk to you Thursday, and Brooks, both of you were kind of saying that the offense is kind of coming around based in part because you guys were a little bit more relaxed and kind of seeing the ball better. Was that the case again yesterday? Because I know you guys pulled off the sweep against Sand Springs. How are you guys feeling at the plate right now?
Well, I think some of our guys are feeling really, really good. Some of our guys are the top of the order they're on fire right now, knock on wood. But some of our middle guys, we need more consistent play out of them. But overall, I sit here and I complain about it. Our team batting average is over 400, so I probably need to be careful how I complain about it.
Well, then you have Ryan leading off. I was talking to Brooks after the game. How much teasing did Ryan get after hitting that home run to center field in Sand Springs the other day? Because a bunch of guys thought they were going to hit home runs with the wind blowing out. Then it's the little leadoff guy who ends up hitting one out of the park. How much teasing did y'all give him?
We gave him a little bit of time, because a lot of times he talks about hitting bombs all the time. He talks about how we'll be in the cage and he'll hit one, and I'll kind of look at him and be like, Coach, that's out of here, you know it is. And he'll say stuff like that to us. But Ryan has been such a man. He has been so big to our team. He's a spark plug. He's that guy that he's so gritty that he will find ways to get on, whether it's drawing a walk, getting hit by pitches. He's leading the team with hit by pitches, and I think he has 13, which is a bunch already.
Wow, man.
He will do whatever we need to do. He's a base stealer. He's a base hit runner. He hits for power. He's hit a couple home runs this year. He's hit doubles. He's hit triples. So he's kind of that guy that really gets us going. He leads the team and runs forward because he gets on base, and TJ and Brooks and the fellows knock him in, and he has been really good at that.
Now he just needs to work on that slow home run trot. because he kind of sprinted around the bases the other day.
That's right.
We'll talk about taking one for the team. What was it, 13 hit by pitches this year? That's definitely taking one for the team. If you're averaging about getting hit by a pitch every single outing, that's pretty impressive. We're talking with Stillwater head coach Jimmy Harris here on the OKPREPS Roundup. Coach, you won 7 straight to end last year, including the state championship. You started out this season winning 7 straight. You had a strong showing in the tournament out in Arizona. You had a big win over Broken Arrow earlier this year, but then you dropped a couple back-to-backs last week. Westmore, which is definitely a tough team, a team that's going to be contending for a state championship. But then the first game of a doubleheader against Muskogee, you turned around and took it out on the Roughers. A little frustration with a 10-run victory, 16-6 in the second game of a doubleheader. How have you liked watching your team, and what have you seen from your team bouncing back from those 2 losses?
Well, the first part of it was, we go and we play Westmore, and we have them down 2-1 in the 7th inning. That typical stinking, it's the 7th inning, there's 2 out, there's 2 strikes, and a guy gets a hit. He does a good job and hits the ball. We go to make a play on it at right field, and it just barely goes off of our glove, and it lands fair. We get the next guy 0-2, we hit him, and then they go, and Westmore, they believe they can beat anybody, and they believe they can come from behind, and that's exactly what they did. Mm-hmm. They had a couple of hits, put a couple of hits together, and beat us 4-2. And that was a big blow to us, and we didn't overcome that. Probably all of us, probably none of us overcome that as well as we should have. So that was Friday night, and then the next morning, we're getting ready to play Muskogee, and the Horn kid from Muskogee is a really talented pitcher, and he beat us. We felt like we were a better team than them, but he beat us, and you got to take your hat off to him because he got stronger as the game went on, and he flat out beat us. And so that was a little discouraging because we didn't bounce back as well as I wanted to. But again, that was a tough loss the night before because Westmore was coming in as the we were right there with them, and we had a chance, and I think that was just kind of a tough loss for us. And then after that, I don't know if you know the score on the next game. You know that it was 16-6, but going into the 5th inning, we were down like maybe 6-1 or 5-1, and things weren't going good for us. And something happened, and the boys in two innings scored. I think they scored maybe 15 runs.
Yeah.
They just clicked and got going and started hitting and started doing what we do. And so from that point on, we have been, we've learned something about ourselves. We got in a place that it was uncomfortable to us, and we fought through it. And that I'm really proud of the boys for that. I wish we would have beat Muskogee, but it'll all work out at the end of the day. And but I'm really proud of the way the boys came back and played the way they did.
The thing that hurts the most about that loss is the fact that it is a district game, and you wrap up the regular season with your 2 most difficult district opponents in back-to-back weeks. You're going to take on Owasso in a back-to-back day situation. Then the following week you're going to take on Jinx in a back-to-back day situation. What do you want to see from your team leading up to those 2 weeks where really the district championship is up for grabs? One of those 2 spots at hosting a regional is up for grabs. During that 2-week stretch, where you're going to take on Owasso, where you're going to take on Jinx, what do you want to see from your team leading up to that?
Well, the first part is we want to win our district games. I mean, we got Sapulpa coming up. Sapulpa beat Muskogee last night in a close game. Jinx beat Owasso last night in a close game in extra innings, I believe. So it looks like the first thing that we have to do, and I know this sounds so typical of a coach, but we're not even thinking about Owasso and Jinx right now. We have to beat Sapulpa, and then we have to beat Norman, and then we get a chance to play Owasso, and that's our goal at the end of the day. So because we're to the point where we're still a young team. We're still, as far as experience goes, we're still young. So it's probably best for us not to look ahead. We probably don't need to look ahead to Owasso and Jinx right now. We need to focus on us and get better each day. We're going to Yukon today, and today we're going there, and we're going to try to get better today. We're throwing some of guys that we need that we're going to need along this way. So that's kind of the plan.
Hey, Coach, I know we talked a lot leading up to the state tournaments, and once you guys got to the state tourney last year, hopefully we have that same situation this year where we talk to you a lot more than we don't talk to you, and if that's the case, you'll be in the run for another state championship. Coach, always good talking to you, and good luck the rest of the way.
Well, thank you very much, and I sure hope I get to talk to you a lot again this season.
That's right. Stillwater head coach Jimmy Harris joining us this morning on the OKPREPS Roundup. That's how it works. If you win, you come on the show. That's what happens. So coaches love coming on the OKPREPS Roundup.
It's like the Colbert bump on Comedy Central.
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
Right over my head.
All right.
Right over my head. You almost derailed this segment.
That's what I do.
And we can't have that because we're about to talk with Carl Albert head coach Wayne Dozier. His team, the three-time defending Class 5A state champs. Coach joins the program. First off, thanks for taking some time this morning. Hope you're doing well on this Saturday morning.
Oh, thank you.
Now, Coach, the last couple of days, it's been a little tough in that tournament. What has happened with your ball club? Just what's gone wrong, or what are some of the things that you guys are working on to fix the two losses that you've had in the last couple of days?
We're not too worried about either one of them. We were in a tournament 6 games this week. Start to run out of arms and don't want to bring guys back. We got 2 games on Monday and Tuesday. I mean, there was a lot of things that we could have done if we didn't have district games with Noble on Monday and Tuesday, but those weren't an option. So we didn't do those things, and we had 3 teams going for tournaments. So our roster was pretty split up and didn't have a very big roster with us.
Now, Coach, we've talked to you in the past, the last couple of years, doing the baseball show here on the Sports Animal in Tulsa, and now we're proud to be streaming on OKPREPS.tv. Something that we've talked about is how powerful your lineup has been with all the guys that you've put out. And we had Jacob Unruh on last week, and he talked about how there isn't a Gavin LaValle on this team. There isn't a Cam Warren on this team. How does this year's team compare to some of the last 3 that have won the state championship?
Well, each and every team's different. The common deal on the last 3 have been that Gavin and Cameron's been on both of them.
Right.
And
Talking with Carl Albert, head coach Wayne Dozier here on the OKPREPS Roundup. The Carl Albert Titans are the 3-time defending 5A champs. Coach, who are some of those guys this year that have to step up and have been stepping up over the last several weeks? We continue to do that every single year where we get near the end of April or near the end of March and into early April. And we're about halfway done with the regular season. Who are some of the guys who have stepped up and who need to continue in order for Carl Albert to continue their winning tradition?
really good things about Tony's club. So, and we know that they're always well coached and will be in there. Deer Creek's always going to be a contender, I believe, and a top team. Chickasha on this side, Guthrie. We've seen both of those guys. I think in a way they're kind of in the same situation. There are a lot of new faces, and they're trying to possibly find their identity and find where everybody fits. And once they get that done, they'll be back where they usually are. So those are a lot of them. McAllister, I see that they're playing well, it looks like. Yeah. So, it's really hard to tell so far. I mean, we're 15 games in, and that looks like that's about where most people are. A lot of the big games are in, throughout the end of April, so you really see where guys match up against each other. But I think you mentioned some of them, and in a lot of cases, it's usually the same people every year, same teams every year that step up, and there's 8 to 10 that you can generally count on that are in that group. Tire is another one that comes to mind, and so it'll be interesting to see because it's some really talented kids and a lot of fresh faces, but they're going to be really good teams and really talented players that we're going to hear about in the next couple of years.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Coach. Always enjoy the insight, always enjoy the conversation. Looking forward to catching up with you as you guys move on throughout the rest of the regular season. And I think one thing we can both agree on is the rest of the regular season and on into playoffs is definitely going to be fun for baseball fans here in the state because 5A definitely provides a different look this year with a lot of new faces, like you mentioned, and a lot of openness. Who knows what's going to happen. It's definitely going to be fun to watch Class 5A baseball this year.
That's true.
All right, Coach, looking forward to talking again. Have a good rest of your day.
You bet, anytime.
That's Wayne Dozier, the head coach at Carl Albert, joining us here. We'll see if the Titans can win a possible 4th straight state championship. And I'll tell you what, similar to Class 4A, but it's no secret 4A has been that way for a while now, the last several years. Who knows who's going to win? You put a bunch of teams up on a dartboard, just throw one, and it might be as good of a choice as just sitting here and trying to break it down. It might be the same scenario for 5A. I have no idea. Shawnee with a big win last night. Memorial, they had a big win earlier this week, but at the same time, you don't really know. He mentioned Collinsville. He mentioned McAllister. There's some teams over on the west side that are still trying to figure some things out. Who knows who's going to win this thing? I have no idea.
You always feel really good about Carl Albert, though. I mean, it's a program that knows how to win. And, kind of like he was saying, they weren't too really worried about 2 tournament losses because, as we've discussed before, it's district games and everything else.
Yep.
And clearly they have their priorities in the right frame of mind there at Carl Albert because you win district games, you set yourself up for the playoffs, you go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I basically posed the question, what's happened the last couple of days?
Right.
He was like, I don't care.
Right.
They're 2 losses in tournament play.
Right.
They weren't in districts. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know, Coach. I don't know what I'm talking about.
You flip the script, you move on, basically.
Pretty much, and that's the one thing that Carl Albert has that the other teams that don't, because I think that everybody's pretty much on an equal playing field right now in terms of a lot of new faces, a lot of guys who aren't used to something like this. But once you get around to the playoffs, regional play, state tournament, stuff like that, these kids that are now playing for Carl Albert, they've grown up watching it. They know what's expected, and I think that kind of gives them a leg up on the competition, in my opinion.
Yeah, tradition often, doesn't quite get the credit it deserves maybe sometimes because guys going into a program, maybe played sparing where they were a courtesy runner here, a pinch hitter there. At least they've been around. They've seen guys before them that have that winning mentality, and that can go a long way in terms of, you have to have talent, but you also have to have the knowledge to get there. So
exactly. You got to know that when the lights are shining brightest, that's when you step up as a program, and Carl Albert has that right now.
Right.
We'll take time out. When we come back, we're going to talk a little soccer with a guy who knows a lot about success. Again, Heritage Hall boys soccer coach Tommy Riley is going to join the program. We're also going to take a look around the state in boys soccer, recap who the state champions, defending state champs are, and how their seasons are going so far. And maybe Ben will give us a breakdown of yesterday's huge game between Union and Booker T. Washington that went to PKs.
All right.
Kicks, yeah.
Sweet.
That's right. I just informed him about it, so we're obviously not going to get any analysis from him. No, but we are going to talk soccer on the other side. He's Ben Johnson. I'm Michael Knight. This is the OKPREPS Roundup. We're coming back with a guy who knows a whole lot more about soccer than we do. Heritage Hall boys soccer coach Tommy Riley joins us after this timeout on your home for sports, the Sports Animal, as well as streaming online on the OKPREPS Network.
All right, listen up.
Good Sense Deli and Subs on South Memorial wants to reward you with a free lunch between 9 and 2 each weekday. If the show host decides your call makes good sense, you'll get a free lunch.
You always dreamed as a kid that you want to be here.
So put on your thinking cap and give us a call, 918-460-5925, and try to get a free lunch from Good Sense Deli and Subs.
So fresh. This is Sean Garner, owner and head strength coach of Excel Performance Training. Being Oklahoma's only MBSC Thrive licensed facility, we're going to help athletes with injury reduction, avoid overuse injuries, and of course, get you bigger, faster, and stronger. We want you to be able to move properly in our controlled environment, so when you're playing on the field or court, it becomes second nature. All athletes will have a detailed workout plan and work in groups of less than 10 other athletes. So if you're ready to go all in and train with the pros, call us at 918-949-4223 or online at excelperformancetraining.com. Next season starts now with Excel Performance Training.
Roofscapesexteriors.com to nominate themselves or someone else.
Wow, that's awesome, Clint. Good for you.
Actually, good for a deserving person in Tulsa. The nomination period is open now until April 22nd. Then 4 finalists are picked. Then the community can vote on a winner beginning April 30th. The winner will be revealed on June 1st, and it all ends with an installation celebration June 13th. But people have to go to our website, roofscapesexteriors.com, to nominate themselves or someone else.
That is good for someone. Hey, I wasn't involved in some calamity this commercial.
Oh, there's still time. We need to go down the ladder.
You follow forward, where savings and satisfaction are standard equipment.
Spring is here, and Eufaula Ford is having a spectacular spring cleaning sell-down. Every car and truck that has been with us during the winter must be sold. Listen to these stupendous spring deals. Like this 2014 Ford Fusion, gray, 13,000 miles, leather, only $21,498. Or a 2013 Taurus, navy, roof loaded, just $25,978. About this 2011 Fusion, new price, just $11,989. Come by Eufaula Ford today and take advantage of these and dozens of other car and truck specials during our spring cleaning sell-down. The time is now.
Yeah, Eufaula Ford, on Highway 9 and 69. Yeah, Eufaula Ford, the best selection you're gonna find. Eufaula Ford.
The sports animal. The sports animal.
Roundup here on your home for sports, the Sports Animal. I am your host, Mike Knight, joined alongside Ben Johnson for another edition of the Roundup here on your home for sports, the Sports Animal, as well as streaming online at okpreps.tv/Roundup. We haven't talked a lot of soccer in the last couple of weeks. We definitely need to dive into the world of soccer this week, and we're bringing on a guest who knows, look, a lot more about soccer than we do, Ben, but it's a guy who knows that because he's had success the last couple of years. Heritage Hall, back-to-back 5A state champs, and we're now joined by the head coach of the Heritage Hall Boys Soccer Club, Tommy Riley. Coach, first off, thanks for taking some time this morning to join us on the program. And you're going to do a little teaching in this segment because we're still in the learning process of following soccer and covering soccer in this state. But we definitely wanted to get you on to talk about your program the last couple of years and how much success you guys have had.
Any way I can.
Well, Coach, let's start things off with this year's team. How does it compare to some of the teams you've had in the past?
We're still a very good side. We still have a core group of kids who have been successful the last 2 years in the two state championship runs, and so we still have a really good core group of experience, and then we have some younger boys coming through that have fit in and kind of picked up where the seniors left off last year to kind of continue
what we believe to be a really good side, and to continue looking forward, hopefully, to another state title run.
Now, let me just ask you this on the spot. Connor McGinnis, is he playing soccer again this year? I know I followed him a lot during the football season, led Heritage Hall to a state title. Knew he was an excellent soccer player as well. Is he back on the soccer club again this spring?
Fortunately for us, he is.
Yeah, how special?
He is a fantastic player. He scores goals for fun at times. He's 6'4", 440, kid, left-sided, and in soccer, being lefty is a good thing, and just a tremendous athlete that we can put out on the field that helps us every single game.
Yeah, we're talking about Connor McGinnis, who is also the quarterback and cornerback for Heritage Hall, set a school record for most interceptions in a single season, and helped lead Heritage Hall to a 3A state football championship last fall. He's going to be a preferred walk-on at OU this coming fall. Now, let me ask you this, Coach. Is there more pressure this year as you guys continue to win as a program, you continue to have success? Do you just feel the pressure continuing to build after, the more success you guys have?
No, not really. There's no pressure. We like to go out there and have fun, and then take each game as it comes. We go one game at a time. We break our season kind of into 4 to 5 different parts. We have the small season that happens. We have 2 games before the spring break. We break that into a season. Then we have a game and a tournament after spring break. We break that down. Then we go into district play, and we break that into 2 different seasons usually, and then come playoffs, hopefully after that, to where it's, you lose and you're done. So there's no pressure. Maybe when we went the second time, there was more pressure the second time around. But this time around, we had the 34-game win streak, and added to that this year with 2 extra games, and went 36-0, and then we lost to Norman 3-2. And we've shook that off and have beaten since then. We've beaten Santa Fe South, who was the 4A state champion last year. We've beaten Westmore, and we've beaten Guthrie also. So we're back on the run again. Our heads down. We're working hard, and we're excited to try and get to the championship again.
Coach Ben Johnson, thanks for joining us this morning. You guys are on a title run, and you say there's no pressure and everything, and you guys. You look at your roster, and you're even built for the future, considering your leading goal scorer and your goalkeeper, both juniors, and Garrett McLaughlin and Gavin Gordon. How important are those guys, and how great is it that they're juniors, and you'll have them again for another year next year?
Yeah, very important. You've always got to have a good spine. What we talk about on our team, having a good spine down the middle, and Gavin is a starter for us this year, although he's a junior. He was a backup his first 2 years to a very good goalkeeper in Daniel Parr. Daniel was kind of his mentor, and he's kind of carried on from where Daniel left off, and has stepped in and done a good job so far. There was a lot of pressure on his shoulders to kind of, fill in Daniel's shoes, and although he's a different type of goalkeeper, he's done an exceptional job. Garrett is a phenomenal player. Garrett, in my opinion, is one of the best players in the state at any age. And to have him on our team we are very, very fortunate. He can do crazy things with the ball. His balance, his vision, his knack of scoring goals is second to none. And he's been recognized not just around the state, but around the region. He just recently got back from Mexico, representing Region 3, and where he got to play against several youth teams that are associated with some pro teams in Mexico.
Man, wow, that's pretty impressive, Coach. We'll get you out of here on this. Which first of all, this needs to be the first of many conversations that we have with you, because I'm loving the accent. I'm loving the soccer knowledge. It's bringing some variety to our show, which we love it. We definitely need to talk again throughout the rest of the regular season, but we'll get you out of here on this. What do you want to see from your ball club the rest of the regular season and on into making a run at a possible three-peat?
I mean, selfishly, I'd like to say we go unbeaten the rest of the season. We've proven that in the past that we're capable of doing it. we have some very tough games coming up, but I believe our boys are focused and ready to play. And we'll meet some difficult teams over the next month or so. We've just got to make sure that we are mentally prepared and ready to go. That target on our back gets bigger and bigger with every game we play, and everyone wants to beat the previous state champion. And since we have it, the last 2 times, people want to beat us even more so. And so we're ready, we're organized, our heads are down, and we're just ready to play and take on whatever team steps over the line to play against us.
And finally, we can't let you go without at least asking the question: what's the accent? Where do you hail from originally?
Originally Liverpool, England.
There you go.
Came over here a long time ago to play for Coach Harvey at Oklahoma City University.
That's impressive. Well, Coach, enjoyed talking today. Hopefully it's the first of many discussions. Good luck to you guys the rest of the regular season and going after that possible three-peat.
Appreciate it. Thank you, fellas. Anytime.
That's Heritage Hall boys soccer coach Tommy Riley joining the program now. That was a great conversation.
No doubt.
Definitely need to have Coach Riley on again. We just need to talk more soccer. I think that's what it is. We're going to run into more people like this if we just open up our minds, Ben.
I know. We're so reclusive. We just need to be more outgoing.
Open up the roundup to everybody.
Open up the possibilities. You never know what's out there.
That's right. We got to take a break, but first, let's recap some of the state champions. We just talked with Heritage Hall. They are the back-to-back champs in Class 5A. They are 5-1 this season. Their winning streak coming to a close to Norman earlier this year, but they do own a victory over Santa Fe South, who is the defending 4A state champ. They are 6-1 this season, with that only loss in a 2-1 decision to the Chargers of Heritage Hall. And finally, in Class 6A, Norman North is your defending champ. They've won 3 out of the last 5 years, although Norman North, during that stretch, 3 out of the last 5, they've been alternating years. So I think this is the year that they're off from winning the state championship. And then next year, they'll go back to winning state. I'm just making stuff up at this point. They are 4-0. That's not a lie. They are in a national tournament in Tennessee next week, so we'll see how Norman North fares in that. But they are your defending 6A champ, and they've won 3 out of the last 5 state championships and looking strong again this season. And for those asking, well, what about the smaller classes? Why did you just do 6A through 4A? There's only that. Those are the only classes in soccer. Not every school has a soccer program.
Just the way it is. That's just the way it is.
That's analysis. Just the way it is.
Well, I mean,
that's it.
Well, I mean, there will come a time, I would imagine 3A in soccer is probably not too far away because you'll go all these 4A districts.
Yeah.
And you could probably start spacing them out like they have in some of the other classes. Maybe need to get 20, 30 more programs to fire up a soccer program, but yeah. I would assume it's around the corner, not too far away.
All right, hour number 1 is in the books, and when we come back, we'll go back to the bread and butter, which is football. High school recruiting, we'll get you an update on that. We'll talk about all the kids who got Division I offers, and we're going to have Austin Quillen on right after the break. You'll want to be sure to stay tuned in. Jinx linebacker Austin Quillen, who has Division I offers from all over the country. He's actually at TU's practice right now. I know the Golden Hurricane really gunning after getting Austin Quillen. He's at their practice. We're going to have him on the show after this timeout, so stay tuned in. He's Ben Johnson. I'm Michael Knight. This is the OKPREPS Roundup, not only on your home for sports, the sports animal, but streaming all over the world, including Liverpool, England.
All right.
Home of Tommy Riley, the OKPREPS Network.
Get in the swing of golf.
It looks like I'm a wreck. It's in the hole! It's in the hole!
Every Saturday with the Swing Fit Golf Oklahoma Hour. Tracy Phillips, Director of Instruction at Cedar Ridge Country Club. Dave Sidler, Oklahoma Journalism Hall of Fame member. And Ken McLeod, publisher Golf Oklahoma magazine, will help navigate the local, state, and national golf scene every Saturday morning at 8. Brought to you by Swing Fit Golf. Get fit.
This is Sean Garner, owner and head strength coach of Excel Performance Training. Being Oklahoma's only MBSC Thrive licensed facility, we're going to help athletes with injury reduction, avoid overuse injuries, and of course, get you bigger, faster, and stronger. We want you to be able to move properly in our controlled environment, so when you're playing on the field or court, it becomes second nature. All athletes will have a detailed workout plan and work in groups of less than 10 other athletes. So if you're ready to go all in and train with the pros, call us at 918-949-4223 or online at excelperformancetraining.com. Next season starts now with Excel Performance Training.
All right,
right, fellas, gather round. Some of you have made the call to Partners Lawn Care to get your lawn prepped for a lush green lawn for the summer. Some of you think it's too late. Well, it's not. It's still pre-emergent season for your lawn. You still got time to get your lawn treated so you don't have that summer full of weeds. You still don't really want to do it anyway, and deep down you know you don't have the knowledge or experience to do it right. However, the guys at Partners Lawn Care do. They've been greening up residential lawns all over Tulsa and surrounding communities and can green up your business too. With Partners Lawn Care, you are not bound by contracts, and you can easily make appointments and pay online at partnerslawncare.com. You can still be the cock of the walk in your neighborhood this year with the greenest, weed-free lawn in the whole subdivision. It's not too late. Just Google Partners Lawn Care for all the info you need to check Partners out and set your first treatment. Partners Lawn Care, weed control, and fertilization. Together, we'll get results.
Your home for sports. AM 1470 KGND Veneta, 96.1 FM KITO Veneta, AM 1490 KPIX Muskogee, AM 1550 KYAL AM Sapulpa, and K233 AU Tulsa, 94.5 FM and 97.1 FM KYAL Muskogee Tulsa. The Sports Animal.
You've heard other dealers offering free oil changes for life, and you thought to yourself, there has to be a catch. Well, usually there is, except at Hodge Ford. Hey, this is Jack Hodge, and we are now offering free oil changes for life for anyone who buys a new or used vehicle. And that's not all. If you ever bought from Hodge, you get free oil changes for life. You heard right.
Jack, so you're saying if you buy any car or own any car from Hodge, you can get your oil change for free as long as you own your car? Are you a little crazy?
Maybe just a little. And hey, it doesn't matter if you bought a diesel or your car takes synthetic oil. We'll honor free oil changes for life up to 4 times a year or every 5,000 miles. Get a free oil change as long as you own your Hodge Ford. That's the Hodge promise.
You heard it from the owner himself. Free oil changes for life at Hodge Ford. Experience the Hodge Ford difference. Come by or call today or go to HodgeFord.com. Hodge Ford, 1200 North Main in Muskogee.
The Tulsa World's Jimmy Trammell.
Here's why the trade was so good. They got a guy who was ineligible at Kentucky. You know what it takes to be ineligible at Kentucky? How many players in the history of Kentucky could Kentucky not get eligible? So this guy's got to be really good in his standard to be ineligible at Kentucky. Sean Kemp, unrelated to grades or anything. It was a manager stole some jewelry situation. And Enes Kanter got $33,000 from a Turkish club team.
Hear Jimmy every Wednesday at 9 on The Sports Animal.
Welcome back. OKPREPS Roundup. Here on your home for sports, the Sports Animal, as well as streaming all over on okpreps.tv/roundup. Below the video player, if you are watching and tuning in on the OKPREPS network, you can vote on our Your Take poll.
Whatever.
It's the Your Take poll this week. We're going to be discussing it in our last segment. Who's going to win the All-State game? The rosters were released earlier this week. We are going to discuss it in our last segment. Who's going to win? Large school, small school, East or West? Who do you like? Who do you like as far as players to really stand out in the All-State game? There's going to be D1 talent galore, especially in large school games. So definitely going to be interested to see how that plays out. Coming up in a little bit, we're trying to get hooked up with Jinx linebacker Austin Quillen, who is currently at TU's football practice. So he might answer, he might not. We just heard from him about 15 minutes ago. He said that he'll be sure to take a look at his phone, and I think we're about to get hooked up with him. He got offered by Iowa this week. He holds offers from Vanderbilt, SEC school. I mean, I'll tell you what, this kid is impressive. Seeing his offer list continuing to grow each and every single week. I know that Army offered him this week. It's just continuing to get bigger and bigger for Austin Quillen, who joins the program now. First off, Austin, I know you're out at TU's practice, and we'll start the conversation there. How are the Golden Hurricane looking?
Oh, looking great. Facility's real nice. Love all the coaches. It's a great atmosphere, good environment. It's a real comfortable place for me, playing here at the state championships and all that good stuff. It's real comfortable. It's a good experience.
And now this isn't your first time. Obviously, you have the experience of playing in Chapman Stadium, not only in state championship games, but every regular season meeting with Union is played there at TU. And I'll tell you what, you're no stranger to the facility of Chapman Stadium, but you're also no stranger to this coaching staff. You've been on several unofficial visits to TU so far this spring. How are you liking the new staff at Tulsa? And, are you feeling the same thing that I'm seeing? And it's looking like TU is putting a high importance on making sure you stay within the boundaries of Tulsa County.
Yeah, definitely. I love the coaching staff, honestly. Like you said, it's nothing new to me. This is all comfortable. Coach Norwood, he really shows his I don't know how to explain it, I guess, important for me.
Yeah.
He's a real personable guy. I love, Coach Montgomery, the linebacker coach, star coach. We're looking at star right now and safety, so I kind of get a mix of everyone, not just one position coach. Everyone's kind of making their way around me. It's a great feeling. They're all great coaches, honestly, so good to be around.
We'll talk more about your recruiting in a little bit, but let's talk a little bit about the Jinx Trojan football program. You're a three-time state champ, three-time defending state champ heading into your senior year. How important for this senior class is going out with another state championship and knowing that every single year in high school we won the state title?
It would be awesome, honestly. We have to get it. There's no way we can win three and then lose this last one. I feel confident. My class is very strong, and with the players we have, I feel very confident in winning that fourth one. So I have no doubt in my mind we'll get it.
Earlier this week, Jinx was named to a national watch list, which is no new thing for the Trojans, but for the top 25 teams coming up in 2015 nationally, teams to watch out for that might be nationally ranked. Do you believe that the Trojans this year are one of the top programs in the country and can compete with some of the other teams from out of state?
Definitely. I mean, I've always believed we're an excellent school. Our football team, our coaches put us in the right position every year. We start out, and honestly, I'd say at the beginning of the year, I don't know how well we will do, but there's the coaches. They just find their way of putting us in the right position and making us disciplined and doing what we need to do and coming out with another state championship. So yeah, I definitely think that.
Hey, Austin, Ben Johnson, thanks for joining us this morning. Before you start your senior year off, what are you going into the season wanting to improve upon your game? Because you have stats both sides of the ball, led the team in tackles, but is there one area that you want to, soar up before, you graduate?
Proficient myself at the linebacker position since I'll be playing it this year. Coming into the season, completely new to it, was kind of just a fast-paced deal. So to perfect that and lead the defense as a leader and not be kind of like trying to catch myself up on a position, if that makes sense. That and just perfect my tackling abilities, of course, my speed, strength, size, all of it. Just help my team get into the state championship, really.
Talking with Jinx linebacker Austin Quillen here on the OKPREPS Roundup. Austin is out at TU football practice right now. He has an offer from TU as well as several programs from around the country. And let me ask you this, Austin. What was it like to get that first Division I offer? Because you're up near double digits if you're not already there right now. But it's always stressful, I know, to recruits in this state to just get that first one. What was that feeling like?
Honestly, it's a feeling that I can't forget, and I remember the coach telling me on the phone, he's saying the first offer is an offer you'll never forget whether you come here or not, and I believe it because it was just such a good feeling. It was a shock when I received it. Really, it's just a great feeling knowing that, hey, someone out there is interested enough in me to offer a full scholarship, and that my hard work is actually paying off. So it was a great feeling.
Now you have offers from Army, Navy, even Hawaii has extended an offer, as well as some of the power conference schools like Iowa earlier this week offered you. Vanderbilt, an SEC school, extended an offer, and of course you have the TU offer. Out of the offers that you hold, which one was the most surprising to you?
I would say my first one was the most surprising just because I wasn't expecting getting the first one, and then if I had to throw in another, maybe Vanderbilt. I didn't see that coming at all, honestly. They contacted me, and then about a week later told me to call them, and I did, and they love my film, they love my abilities, that I could fit in their program fast, and so they offered me, and I'm going to take a visit down there next weekend and see how it goes. Very interested.
Now let me ask you this, because you do have 5 official visits that you can take before signing day next February. You hold an offer from the University of Hawaii. Are you going to use one of those official visits to go out to Hawaii?
Everyone loves to throw that at me. Definitely, I would if I could. I wouldn't hold out my decision for that. I mean, whatever feels most comfortable, and I've definitely didn't do some research on them, so it's not like I'm gonna wait to take an official to see how they are. I do my research on every school who shows interest in me, and I mean, I want to make a decision sooner than later for the most part. Yes, I mean, at that point, whenever it becomes most comfortable with me, I will make a decision, and then whether it's time to take officials or if I've already decided, it'll come down to that. So.
And finally, we'll get you out of here on this. Growing up here in Oklahoma, did you have a favorite school? We ask recruits this all the time. What would the dream school be? If you could get an offer from any school in the country, who would it be? And now I pose the question to you. What would be your dream school?
Honestly, I can honestly say that I've never had a favorite college school, and that's not to make a school happy or mad. I just, for whatever reason, I've always grown up, and I mean, I would say I've favored OU, maybe a little bit more, but I've never looked at them and said, hey, that's my dream school, or TU is my dream school, or Alabama. I just, for whatever reason, I've never had a favorite school. I've just hoped to and dreamed all my life to be a D1 player for that part. So.
Well, you're halfway to that goal now with all the Division I offers. Congratulations on getting them. Congratulations on the three-peat last year. Looking forward to catching up with you as we get closer to spring ball as well as throughout the summer. And enjoy the rest of practice there at TU.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it, Chris.
That's Jinx linebacker Austin Quillen joining the program here, and he's one of the fastest movers in recruiting over the last couple of months, who has gone from 0 offers to a lot of offers. I can run down the list real quick, which is available if you want to check it out. Every single player in Oklahoma that currently holds a Division I offer, we have it all here for you on OKPREPS.tv. It's just the 2016 OKPREPS FBS offers list, because there is an FBS and FCS difference.
Sure.
But Austin Quillen having a lot of those offers. Arkansas State, Appalachian State, Army, Colorado State, Hawaii, Iowa, Louisiana Tech, Navy, Tulsa, Vandy, and Wyoming. I think we're at 25 with Day Williams of Sapulpa. 25 kids in the state currently hold Division I offers. Some of those kids who are right there on the cusp of getting their first Division I offer. 5 guys I wrote down that I think are right there, getting closer and closer to that first D1 offer. First, I believe Darren Williams, a running back at Edmond Santa Fe, a guy who led Class 6A in rushing last year, really burst onto the scene as a junior. Keaton Torrey, their quarterback, has moved out of state, so there's going to be even more of a focus on Williams running the ball. I'm surprised he doesn't have an offer already, but I think he's right on the verge of getting his first Division I offer. Drayvon Kristen is a cornerback out of Putnam City, a guy who I've watched a lot of film on. I really like his game. I think he probably fits more at the safety position at the next level. That's at least what I see when I look at his film. He plays like a safety. His instincts are unreal. Size, Not the biggest. He's not a Calvin Bundage like at Santa Fe, but at 6 foot, he's definitely a Division I prospect. Then we have 3 guys here in the Tulsa metro area that I think are right on the verge as well. We'll start at Bixby with fullback Nick Roller. I say fullback even though he plays running back, but let's be honest, at the next level, he's a fullback.
With a name like Roller, you have to be a fullback.
And we both saw his performance against East Central in Week 2 last year that really said, oh my gosh, this guy is about to have a breakout season. I don't know if he eclipsed 1,000 yards during his sophomore year. If he didn't, he was really close to it, and he helped lead Bixby to a state championship. If he continues to drop some weight, maybe get a little bit faster, maybe 0.2 of a second off that 40 time, he's going to become a major Division I prospect.
Yep.
I know that the fullback position is going away in college football, and that really hurts a guy like Nick Roller, but there's going to be some programs that just want him in their program at the D1 level. Wide receiver Tyreek Bitson at Booker T. Washington. Really like this guy. Of course, we talked with Justice Hill a couple weeks ago. The running back committed to OSU. Bitson definitely has the family line going for him. His uncle Dan Bitson, former McLean coach, former TU assistant as well. Obviously, good bloodlines there. Tyreek, I believe, is right on the verge of his first offer. And then Abe Anderson, quarterback and linebacker out of Metro Christian. Last year, we had Dalton Wood at McAllister kind of burst onto the scene and get that OU offer. And a lot of people are like, oh, wow, think he's a Division I prospect. Well, OU saw enough out of him to think that he's going to be a tight end despite never playing the position.
Right.
I think if there's that Dalton Wood in this 2016 class, it's Abe Anderson. He reminds me of Wood in his game, both offensively and defensively. Not as big, not as tall, but definitely is going to help you win some ball games. And I don't know what position he's going to play. I'm not a college coach, obviously, but I do think he's right on the verge. I know that Tulsa likes him a lot, and he was at their junior day last weekend. And talking to some people, I think that they might be close to offering Anderson. So those are 5 guys that might be on the verge of picking up that first offer. Some of the offers that rolled in this week, you can always check it out every Monday. We're going to release the OKPREPS recruiting notebook on Gridiron, so you'll want to check that out. This coming up Monday, we had our first offer in the 2017 class, which was interesting because there was already a prospect in the 2018 class in Oklahoma that held an offer, and now we have one in 2017. Levi Draper, a linebacker out of Collinsville, he picked up an offer from Louisville, big pickup for him. Luther Harris, a big offensive lineman from Heritage Hall, he got offered by Tulsa. Jordan Brown, Stillwater receiver, he got offered by Southern Miss during a visit there in Mississippi. Austin Quillen, we just talked with him. He picked up a couple offers this week. Jeremy Lewis, a running back from Lone Grove, a guy who's going to fly under the radar because of where he plays, but he's not flying under the radar now with coaches at the next level. Nebraska extending an offer to Mr. Lewis. I think he's the best running back in this class, by the way. Michael Wilson, speaking of the best at his position, I believe he's the top quarterback. He picked up offers from Colorado State, Liberty, and he's a smart kid, so he got an offer from Yale. I believe his brother played at Princeton.
That sounds right.
Yeah. One
we're
brother
getting
played
confirmation from
one
Josh
brother
Stowe.
one brother played at TU, and then the other played at Princeton. And Micah, look, he's going to have some offers from all over the country. But
I can't imagine the family gatherings and the Ivy League jokes just thrown around the house. Like, I have a Yale degree.
I have a Princeton degree.
Yeah.
Just
although the jokes would be a lot smarter than that because they'd obviously have degrees from Ivy League schools.
All of the conversations would be over our heads.
Yeah, no
that's
doubt.
For sure. Jimmy McKinney, another guy who's really picking up some steam, the Oologah linebacker. He got offered by Colorado State, Ohio, Sam Houston State, and Army. Rowdy Frederick, a big offensive lineman from Broken Arrow, already holds a TU offer. He got offered by Texas Tech this week. Max Waraboko, Josh's younger brother, if you're familiar with Josh Waraboko, the top prospect in the 2015 class. Max is a corner, and he picked up an Iowa offer this week as the Hawkeyes spent some time in Oklahoma offering both Austin Quillen and Max Waraboko this week. And then the 25th prospect to pick up a Division I offer is Sapulpa running back Day Williams, who has been offered by the Naval Academy. So that's your little look at recruiting in Oklahoma. We'll continue to do that each week. We're going to catch up with, last week it was Josh from Rivals to talk about the class overall. This week it was Austin Quillen. We'll continue to talk with both guys who cover recruiting as well as the recruits themselves each and every single week, and we'll get you caught up on who got offers, who might be on the verge of getting offers as well. We'll take a time out. When we come back, we're going to speak with Sean Garner. It's our Excel performance training segment. Each week we're joined by Sean, and he's going to help us out. You're going to want to stay tuned because this week we're talking ACL prevention. Now, look, you can't always prevent an ACL injury, but with Sean's help at Excel Performance Training, he's going to teach you some things that you can do to help at least try to prevent an ACL injury. And with soccer, baseball, all these sports that cause a lot of stress on your knees, you definitely want to stay tuned in. He's Ben Johnson. I'm Michael Knight. This is the OKPREPS Roundup on your home for sports, the Sports Animal, as well as online on the OKPREPS Network.
The big leaguers are back. Opening day is coming, and the Rangers and Cardinals are back on the Sports Animal.
It's in the upper port. Prince Fielder breaks a 16-game home run drought.
Catch the Cardinals Sunday at 7.
Swing it a long one. Get up, baby. Get up. Get up. Good night, folks.
And the Rangers Monday at 9. Major League Baseball on the Sports Animal is brought to you by Roofscapes Exteriors, St. Louis Union Station Hotel, Wingate by Wyndham Hotel. We're your home for the big leagues, the Sports Animal.
This is Sean Garner, owner and head strength coach of Excel Performance Training. Being Oklahoma's only MBSC Thrive licensed facility, we're going to help athletes with injury reduction, avoid overuse injuries, and of course, get you bigger, faster, and stronger. We want you to be able to move properly in our controlled environment, so when you're playing on the field or court, it becomes second nature. All athletes will have a detailed workout plan and work in groups of less than 10 other athletes. So if you're ready to go all in and train with the pros, call us at 918-949-4223 or online at excelperformancetraining.com. Next season starts now with Excel Performance Training.
All right, fellas, gather around. Some of you have made the call to Partners Lawn Care to get your lawn prepped for a lush green lawn for the summer. Some of you think it's too late. Well, it's not. It's still pre-emergent season for your lawn. You still got time to get your lawn treated so you don't have that summer full of weeds. You still don't really want to do it anyway, and deep down you know you don't have the knowledge or experience to do it right. However, the guys at Partners Lawn Care do. They've been greening up residential lawns all over Tulsa and surrounding communities and can green up your business too. With Partners Lawn Care, you are not bound by contracts, and you can easily make appointments and pay online at partnerslawncare.com. You can still be the cock of the walk in your neighborhood this year with the greenest, weed-free lawn in the whole subdivision. It's not too late. Just Google Partners Lawn Care for all the info you need to check Partners out and set your first treatment. Partners Lawn Care, weed control, and fertilization. Together, we'll get results.
The Tulsa World's Bill Haston.
It's been weeks and weeks and weeks of subpar defense. Listen, without Ibaka, and then they were without Adams for a while. Durant is an underrated defender, and then Mitch McGary, God bless him, he just gets turned around in circles.
Well, I guess Cantor does too at times.
Well,
defensively,
I'm more inclined to lean toward the effort
is that
side.
right? Okay, that makes
he's
sense.
a fourth-year guy.
Catch Bill Thursdays on the Middle of the Day show on the Sports Animal.
Welcome back to the OKPREPS Roundup here on your home for sports, the Sports Animal, as well as live on the OKPREPS Network. I am Michael Knight, your host, joined once again by Sean Garner here at Excel Performance Training. Sean, another week in the gym. Looking forward to seeing what you have for us today.
Yeah, I'm really excited again to get to be back here. And today, talk about a huge topic within strength conditioning, especially at this time of year with dealing with soccer players, is ACL prevention. So that's a big, huge kind of buzzword you hear within strength conditioning, personal training, and especially whenever it comes to athletes, is what can we do to prevent these ACL injuries?
And now you hear all the time ACL prevention. Now any workout or training can't prevent an ACL tear or something happening, but what you do here helps in terms of trying to prevent them.
Absolutely. We try to avoid words like that. We really think that we're pretty good at what we do. but we can't ever prevent injuries, but we're going to do everything in our power to reduce injuries. So we're working more so with ACL reduction than actually prevention techniques.
And we have our lovely guest back again this week.
That's right. We've got Miss Lacey Clevenger again back from Excel Therapy with us today, kind of help show us some of these exercises and techniques that we're going through.
Dive all right on into it. I'm looking forward to it.
So like we talked about, our whole program and philosophy is set up for ACL reduction. The term prevention is kind of thrown around a little too much, and we're just not that great at our jobs. Being able to reduce injury is what the focus of any good training program should be. So within our program, we have 5 areas that every good strength and conditioning program should encapsulate within their training. So the first is going to be a dynamic warm-up. And with this, we're going to focus on one big area, and it's going to be the skip. So Lacey's going to show us a skip. The point of a dynamic warm-up is just to get the body moving. Whenever we're doing this for our athletes, we're making sure the heel up, toe up, knee up is going nice and smooth. Beautiful. Go ahead and stop. The point of the dynamic warm-up, guys, is just get the body moving, get everything loose, muscles getting fired up, and getting ready to go on some more explosive exercises. The second thing that any good training at our ACL reduction program should have is the emphasis in power movements, and definitely focusing on the eccentric or the landing. A lot of times we focus on the jumping, but we don't focus on the landing or the deceleration. That's whenever a lot of the injuries really occur. So a lot of them focus on a jump, which is where 2 feet leave the ground and 2 feet land on the ground. But where we focus in is on the single leg, so a hop. So we're going to focus on jumping off of one leg and landing on the other. So with this, we're going to go lateral and medial, or left and right. And then we're also going to go linear, which is going to be straight ahead with our jump. With this, guys, what we're looking for is making sure when she lands, it's nice and soft, the shoulders over the knees. It's kind of like a little toe heel action. She's not slamming her foot down on the ground, but it's teaching the athlete how to absorb force. A lot of athletes are really strong and stable on 2 legs, but when you take that one leg out of the equation, it starts to get a little sketchy. So after we've done that, we've gotten our muscles fired up with our active warm-up. We've worked on our eccentric power phase development. Next, we're going to go to strength exercises. So one of our favorite exercises here for single leg strength is the single leg deadlift. So for this, Lacey's going to have a slight bend in her plant leg. All the weight's going to be onto the heel, and she's going to shift her hips back or just hinge back, getting that nice hip hinge action, and then come up, squeezing the glutes at the top. This is a great exercise for core hip stability, but definitely with that knee stability. So this is one of our top exercises that we do for athletes that are coming back from an ACL injury, or like we said, we use to reduce that ACL. So other thing that we're going to do is change of direction concepts. So we're going to teach them how they should be planting and landing whenever it comes time to be dynamic and moving in their sport. So one of the things that we teach is called a crossover stick. So for this, Lacey's going to start in an athletic position. Her shoulders are over her knees, and we're going to emphasize driving that knee over, landing back in that athletic position. So whenever she does this, again, we're not looking for her to slam her feet down onto the ground. We're watching her cross that leg over and drive and then land in that athletic position. Again, teaching them how to absorb that force. So after we have all those different concepts and pieces put together, we're going to implement this into a conditioning phase. So with this, we like to use a lot of 5-10-5 shuttles, so pro agility shuttles, or break out the slide boards and do some kind of lateral movement, putting all these concepts together. So like I said, top 5 things, guys, and top 5 exercises, again, are going to be make sure you have a good dynamic warm-up, incorporate some skips, shuffles, karaokes, get that body moving good. Second thing is going to be power development with an emphasis on eccentric or that landing portion, teaching them how to absorb the force that they're creating. Third is going to be single leg strength. So we like to use the single leg deadlift to help build that knee and hip stability up. Third is going to be change of direction concepts, teaching your body how to absorb these positions that we've created. And the last thing is going to be change of direction conditioning. We've got the heart thumping, muscles starting to get fatigued and weak. So how can we implement this when we're actually in our sport and it's time to go?
I was part of it. I was part of this whole thing. Sean, thanks again. Hopefully this helps our athletes around Oklahoma prevent those ACL injuries. And if you're coming off the ACL injury, like he said, there are some things you can do to help strengthen it. Looking forward to talking to you next week. This has been another great, and thank you to Lacey as well. Hopefully we see her again next week. For Sean Garner, I'm Michael Knight. This has been another segment here live from Excel Performance Training on the OKPREPS Roundup on your home for sports, the sports animal, as well as streaming live on the OKPREPS Network.
Or Kentucky, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Duke. Who will win it all? Find out right here with the Final Four Saturday and the title game on Monday night. Brought to you by Kyle Edwards Buick GMC, The Pint on Cherry Street Pub and Grill, Partners Lawn Care, Buffalo Wild Wings, Tulsa Roughnecks FC, Middleton's Bar and Grill, and the Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Tournament coming to Tulsa in May. We're your home for March Madness.
Oh, wow, a monster jam!
The Sports Animal.
You've heard other dealers offering free oil changes for life, and you thought to yourself, there has to be a catch. Well, usually there is, except at Hodge Ford. Hey, this is Jack Hodge, and we are now offering free oil changes for life for anyone who buys a new or used vehicle. And that's not all. If you ever bought from Hodge, you get free oil changes for life. You heard right.
Jack, so you're saying if you buy any car or own any car from Hodge, you can get your oil change for free as long as you own your car? Are you a little crazy?
Maybe just a little. And hey, it doesn't matter if you bought a diesel or your car takes synthetic oil. We'll honor free oil changes for life up to 4 times a year or every 5,000 miles. Get a free oil change as long as you own your Hodge Ford. That's the Hodge promise.
You heard it from the owner himself. Free oil changes for life at Hodge Ford. Experience the Hodge Ford difference. Come by or call today or go to HodgeFord.com. Hodge Ford, 1200 North Main in Muskogee.
Hall of Famer Dave Sittler.
Going back to the NFL for a second, there was an interesting thing raising some eyebrows. Is Chris Borland, that rookie linebacker for the 49ers, who had a really good rookie season out of Wisconsin, retired.
Third-round draft choice.
Yeah, and he did it because he said he got study and health issues. So my question to you is, you think more and more of these things are going to start happening and trickle down?
Hear Dave every Tuesday on the Middle of the Day Show, The Sports Animal.
We ain't never scared. Welcome back, OKPREPS Roundup here on your home for sports, Sports Animal, as well as streaming all over the world, including in Watonga, Oklahoma, on the OKPREPS Network. I am Michael Knight, joined by Ben Johnson. Watonga has nothing to do with our next segment. I just enjoy the name. And
maybe Daquan Jeffries has been to Watonga.
Maybe. We should have said Edmond, Oklahoma, and waited for Watonga. We're still awaiting connection with Daquan Jeffries, the Santa Fe forward, the newest commit to ORU's basketball program. He committed on Wednesday. You can check out okpreps.tv for the story on his commitment. Jeffries had a fantastic state tournament. Granted, they walked away with a silver ball. They finished runner-up in Class 6A. The championship game was ugly, Mustang winning in a rout, but just the fact that Santa Fe got there was so impressive to me. With all the different teams like Putnam City West, I think a lot of people just thought it was a foregone conclusion, that, including myself, I thought it'd be PC West and Mustang, and I thought PC West would win the state title, but unfortunately they went down in the semifinals, and then you had Santa Fe taking on Mustang, and Mustang went to work in the championship game. We've tried a couple of times and have not been able to get hooked up with Jeffrey, so we're going to have to scratch that interview and hope to get hooked up with him in the next coming weeks. He's actually going to be able to sign with ORU. You wrote about it in the World. He'll be able to sign on April 15th, which is not because it's tax day that he's not going to be able to sign with the Golden Eagles on that day. But it's the first day in the spring period that they have signing day that athletes can sign.
Yeah, I had to look it up because all these the only signing day that I know of is the first Wednesday of February. All the other ones, I couldn't tell you.
Right.
That it could be some random day in April, could be some day in October, whatever. I wish there was some more concrete. I know that for the NCAA it makes sense, but I can't keep up. That's why I just use the internet. I just look it up.
Yeah, I mean, the only signing day that I know, like, for sure is the first Wednesday every February. Right. I know that there's going to be a signing day.
I mean, we're going to get 75% of the signees in anyway, so.
Exactly. Football. It runs the state, and it's running the country. And it'll try to take over the world, but soccer's got a firm grip on that.
Tommy Riley is going to make sure that doesn't happen.
Never in his lifetime will it happen. Unfortunately, can't get hooked up with Daquan Jeffries. Some other guys who will be going Division I but have yet to commit. You talk about, we mentioned Putnam City West, Tyson Jolly, a guy who had a huge health scare at this time last year. Wasn't even sure he was going to be able to play basketball again. Was held out of the state tournament a year ago. PC West finished as the runner-up in Class 6A to Union. Tyson Jolly came back with a vengeance this year, established himself as one of the top players in the state. He's narrowed his list down to 5. Gonzaga is actually one of them. Oklahoma State actually offered Jolly late. They did not make the cut for his top 5. So it looks like Tyson Jolly, the PC West standout, is headed out of state. Where he'll go, he still has several official visits lined up, and it doesn't look like he's going to be committing anytime soon. But Tyson Jolly definitely one of the state's best, and he's going to get out of the borders of Oklahoma, which... Look, I mean, I was there at the Mabee Center for the state tournament. Again, the Sutton brothers were both front and center. Not only were they watching Jeffries, they were watching a guy like Tyson Jolly. I know that Gonzaga, Minnesota is another one he likes. UTEP's one that he likes. Cal is another one in his top 5. I know that ORU isn't at that level, but at the same time, if you're an Oklahoma kid and you're going to go to Spokane, Washington, or UTEP, El Paso, Texas. Now, I'm not going to knock him if he wants to go to Berkeley and Cal. That's fine by me. But really, if you're an Oklahoma kid and you choose El Paso, Texas over staying in-state playing, in front of fans who have watched you in high school, it's not a really good sign.
You might have season tickets to the Sun Bowl or something like that.
Just every Christmas, that's like a family tradition.
Yeah, maybe.
They go to the Sun Bowl every year.
Just loves West Texas. I don't know who loves West Texas, but people in El Paso probably do.
I spent like 1 day, maybe 2 days in West Texas, and I couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Yeah, if you go to Lubbock, you're wanting to get out of Lubbock.
Yeah, mine was in Amarillo. Luckily, I've never been to Lubbock. If I can go the rest of my life without not going to Lubbock, I choose that. Another guy who has some offers, should be committing sometime soon, Edmond Memorial guard Curran Scott. We're going to talk about these guys a lot in our next segment, actually,
right,
because they're all in the All-State game coming up, and you can vote on who's going to have the top performance. I mean, you look at some of these guys, Tyson Jolly, we mentioned him, Curran Scott, he has some offers. He's been hearing from ORU. He's been hearing from TU a lot. It's impressive to me when you talk about Curran Scott, it's the fact that he did something that Jordan Woodard never did, James Woodard never did, Shaq Morris, Obi Emegano, Aaron Young, who's now at ORU, guys who are at the Division I level in the last 5 years alone from Edmond Memorial. Curran did something that none of them did by setting the school record for most points scored in a single season. Now, look, Curran's taken more shots than those guys,
sure,
without a doubt, and those other guys had pieces around him. Now, Scott has Christian Doolittle, who is a 2016 prospect committed to OU, but at the same time, and Coach Cowherd, Shane Cowherd, talked about it before the state tournament, Scott's had to be the focal point of this offense, so no disrespect to those guys that he passed, like the Woodard brothers and all those other guys. Scott's had to average over 20 points a game, but to set that record, it's impressive to me.
Yeah, and well, he goes to school in Edmond, so that automatically puts him on the ORU radar. Like I talked about a couple minutes ago with you, Sutton keeps stockpiling Edmond guys over there. Aaron Young, Aaron Anderson, Obi Emegano. I'm forgetting one more. But there's 4 of them right now.
Aaron Young, Obi Emegano, Aaron Anderson.
Oh, and now Daquan Jeffries.
And Daquan Jeffries.
Yeah.
Which, coincidentally enough, Jeffries is the only one that has signed with ORU right out of high school. The other guys have transferred there.
Well, he hasn't signed yet.
That's true. Wait until the 15th. Then sign on the dotted line.
Remember tax day.
That's right. Get those taxes in, otherwise IRS will be after you. Some of the smaller school, when we say small school, we mean D2 NAIA schools that have signed some Oklahomans here in the last couple of weeks. Not signed, but these kids have committed, and they'll sign on the dotted line when signing day comes around. Hutch Peterson from Jenks, he's on the All-State team. He's going to commit to the School of Arts and Science here in Oklahoma.
All right.
Chase Littlejohn from Stillwell staying in state. He'll be playing at Rogers State. Douglas Moore from Lawton Eisenhower, he committed to Drury. Caleb Norris from Coweta committed to Oklahoma Baptist. You have a couple Broken Arrow kids, Josh Holliday and Trent Cantrell, helped lead the Tigers to a state tournament appearance. Holliday committed to UCO, while Cantrell will go to Tahlequah as he committed to NSU. Zach Cornelson from Bishop McGuinness committed to Rhodes College, and Cade Upshaw from Verdigris committed to NOC out in Enid. So some small school guys. But I mean, you look at this list. I mean, Upshaw, he's on the All-State team. Cantrell, Holliday, Douglas Moore, Chase Littlejohn, Hutch Peterson. There's a lot of talent, and we see this every single year. There's a lot of talent in this state, and a lot of times it gets overlooked.
Well, when I saw Douglas Moore was going to Drury, I thought, wow, what a steal for Drury.
Yeah,
because he's a guy that I thought could have gone low D1 maybe. I mean, the game that I saw him at the state tournament battled foul trouble, but you can just tell that he's a guy that is going to be a valuable asset to a college team somewhere. I mean, he's not going to go to Duke or Kentucky.
Right.
But, I mean, low D1, he's looking at being a quality guy. But, you know, good job for Drury for snagging him and get to play in Springfield, Missouri. And, you know, kind of the same way for Holiday. I kind of thought he might be the same way. But, you know, to go play for Terry Evans isn't a bad thing either, so.
The thing with Holiday, and I agree, his game alone, he could play at the Division I level. Dude can jump out of the gym. The thing that's not at the Division I level is his height, and I think that's the biggest thing that held him back. You know, I talk about him, and he's the smallest big man on the floor because he's always the smallest, shortest guy on the floor every time he steps out there. But then again, he will go up and dunk it on you if he gets the opportunity. In the first round game against, I believe it was Mustang.
It was.
He jumped up, and from the looks of it at the time, I thought he stuffed 6'8" Austin Meyer. And again, that's a foot difference at least. Austin Meyer, a major college prospect as well in the 2016 class. The dude can get up there, but you can't. You can't overcome height. That's something that you can't. You hear all the time coaches say you can't coach size.
Well, it's like Daquan Jeffries. If he were a couple inches taller, he might not be able to keep up with all the offers coming in.
Because he's got that inside-outside game.
Right.
I know that he didn't really showcase that in the last couple of weeks because Deron Mims, his teammate guard, really stepped up his game as well. He took care of the outside. But earlier this season, Jeffries would stand out on the wing and nail three-pointers. So, let me ask you this.
He reminds me of a Desmond Mason for OSU back in the day.
Right.
A guy who was listed at 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", had incredible hops, and he's not going to go in and play on the post in college, but he can contend at the rim.
Yeah.
I mean, with that kind of athleticism.
Let's only hope that he has that kind of career.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, because you do cover the beat for ORU, and before Daquan committed, you put out there that there's a lot of guys leaving the ORU program.
Mm-hmm.
So let's focus right now on the three guys who are committed there. Two of them have already signed. Chris Miller at Booker T. Washington, Chris Crawford at Victory Christian, now Jeffries at Edmond Santa Fe. What are the chances? I think we both agree that Crawford's going to have a huge opportunity to start from day one. But what are the opportunities that these guys are going to get immediate playing time with the mass exodus?
Well, I think you look at the starting roster right now. Albert Owens is going to have to be your big man. Brandon Conley is probably your 4. Obi Megan at 3. Aaron Young is your point guard. So you're looking at – I've heard great things about Aaron Anderson. People love him there, so he could end up maybe being the 2. Maybe Obi and Aaron Anderson kind of go back and forth. I love Chris Crawford's scoring ability to be able to play right away, to get to the rim. I mean, ORU is big at getting to the free throw line. Megan was one of the best in the country doing it.
Yep.
I think Chris Crawford will fit in great in that aspect. And, and he can shoot it too. And I would imagine they're going to have high hopes for Chris Miller to at least be a big body in the paint. Because beyond Albert Owens at 6'8", their next biggest guy is Brandon Conley at 6'6". and they're going to need Conley to stay out of foul trouble, which is something he couldn't do this year. So, they're going to need those two guys to come in, and then I think Daquan Jeffries is going to come in and be a versatile guy that can play anywhere from the 2 to the 4 maybe. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how Scott Sutton mixes and matches all the pieces he has coming back, and then the kid I'm high on that they signed is a kid from Iowa named Jevin White, 6'8". His mom graduated from ORU, which is a big selling point for him. Long, lanky, can do everything. So
wow.
He could, to me, he could end up being the gem of the class, but we'll wait and see.
Little ORU talk, nothing wrong with that. By the way, in our last segment, we talked
ACL reduction with our good friend Sean Garner from Excel Performance Training. You can actually go to the OKPREPS Twitter page, at OKPREPS TV, and we have a link for you to go vote and help Sean Garner. He's trying to get into the top 8 of this men's health vote right now. The deadline for voting has been extended, I believe, a week, and he has an extra week to help try to get into the top 8. The top 8 get into a reality show, and our friend Sean Garner trying to get into that top 8. I believe he's currently in the 8th spot right now, so be sure and help him out. I'm going to go vote right now as we go to a break for our friend Sean. We're going to talk to him again next week as we do each and every single week, but be sure and go do that. You can hit up the OKPREPS Twitter page for the link. We got to hit a break. When we come back, we're going to discuss the Your Take. Also, we do have some former Oklahoma kids that are about to hit the big leagues. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well as we wrap up this edition of the OKPREPS Roundup. He's Ben Johnson. I'm Michael Knight. We'll be back with our final segment here on your home for sports, the Sports Animal, as well as streaming all over the world on the OKPREPS Network.
If you know your Philly trivia, the Sports Animal's gonna send you there. To Fat Phillies, that is.
I'm gonna get me some of that.
Every Friday, we'll play Fat Philly trivia to send you and 3 of your friends to Fat Phillies at 1305 South Peoria. You can eat whatever you want. We'll play during the middle of the day show. Fat Phillies, rolling them fat since 2005.
Now that's fat.
This is Sean Garner, owner and head strength coach of Excel Performance Training. Being Oklahoma's only MBSC Thrive licensed facility, we're going to help athletes with injury reduction, avoid overuse injuries, and of course, get you bigger, faster, and stronger. We want you to be able to move properly in our controlled environment, so when you're playing on the field or court, it becomes second nature. All athletes will have a detailed workout plan and work in groups of less than 10 other athletes. So if you're ready to go all in and train with the pros, call us at 918-949-4223 or online at excelperformancetraining.com. Next season starts now with Excel Performance Training.
The head football coach at the University of Oklahoma, Bob Stoops.
See, I told Sittler, coach, that you're supposed to introduce you as the wing as coach of the history of University of Oklahoma football. He wouldn't do it.
Hey, you wouldn't do that to your buddy Switzer, though.
Well, yeah. I have before just to irritate him, to be quite honest about it.
He didn't tell me that. But,
No.
We're talking with the winningest football coach in Oklahoma history. Now that I'm a retired media guy, can I sneak in or what?
Yeah, come on by. You know how loose I am with all of that.
Oh, yeah.
The Sports Animal.
Welcome back. OKPREPS Roundup here on your home for sports, the Sports Animal, as well as streaming all over the world on the OKPREPS Network. You can go to okpreps.tv/roundup to watch the show live from the Sports Animal studios. And right under the video player, we have our Your Take poll, and we're going to discuss that here in about 10 minutes, so you still have some time to vote. We asked the question, who's going to win the All-State games coming up this summer? The rosters were released earlier this week. We have the large school All-State game, small school All-State game, as well as some of the top players for each game. Who's going to have the top performance? Ben and I will debate that here in the next 10 minutes. But before we get to that, we definitely need to discuss some of the bigger news this week as spring training comes to a close. Opening day in Major League Baseball is tomorrow night.
Cardinals.
Most of opening day is Monday. Look, I don't care that much about Major League Baseball, but I know you do, and I know you'll be tuned in tomorrow night for your Cards against the Cubs. So we definitely need to talk a little bit about some of the Oklahomans who are going to be
at least close, if not in the big leagues, once tomorrow rolls around. One guy that I definitely want to talk about is Archie Bradley, the former Broken Arrow standout. Helped lead Broken Arrow to that state championship in 2011. He was a part of that class in 2011 with Dylan Bundy, who went, both of them went in the top 10 of the Major League Baseball draft. Dylan Bundy trying to work off that shoulder injury and trying to get closer and closer to the big leagues. He actually made it up to Baltimore in September, his first year. So we'll see if he can get back to the big leagues this year. He's definitely not going to start there, still trying to work some things out. But Archie Bradley, it was announced this week after they sent
Trevor Cahill
to Atlanta, I believe, in a trade. That opened up the door for Archie to be in the rotation on opening day. And we found out yesterday, Tony La Russa actually announced it, that speaking of the Cardinals, that Archie Bradley would be in the rotation for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And it was a complete coincidence that I was actually covering the Broken Arrow baseball game last night, so I was able to talk with their head coach Shannon Dobson, who's extremely close with Archie Bradley. We had Coach Dobson on last week. We talked about his relationship with Bradley and whether or not he thought he was close to getting to the big leagues. And Bradley called his coach 10 minutes after he found out, so I was able to get Coach Dobson's reaction. Obviously, the Broken Arrow program, very excited for their guy. Found out that his first start, not sure which game in the series, but his first start is going to be against the Los Angeles Dodgers at home. So we'll see how he does. Definitely want to keep up with his career, but definitely good things for Archie Bradley. The former Broken Arrow standout, former OU commit. Some people thought that he was going to possibly go to the OU football team to play quarterback. I can proudly say I never for a second thought he was going to go play football for the University of Oklahoma. Even after he committed, I was like, nah.
Right.
No chance. He's going to get drafted in the top 10. Who would want to go play football when you're going to make millions of dollars? I know he just bought a home out in Arizona. So definitely happy for Archie. Was one of my favorite interviews while he was in high school. Still one of my favorite interviews, even catching up with him now. We're definitely going to have to get him on the program now that he's gotten the call up and is a part of the opening day rotation. He'll make a start sometime next week against the Dodgers. You have a former Oklahoman that you want to give a little shout out to.
JT Romuto. I mean, we talked to Carl Albert's coach earlier and should have asked him about him, but looking to lock up a spot at catcher for the Miami Marlins. And then, I mean, you go down the list. I pulled up a list of current guys from Oklahoma and the bigs, and, you know, you kind of forget about Dallas Keuchel.
Yeah.
Going to be a key part of the Astros this year. Then you got Pete Kozma going to bounce back and forth probably. And then, you know, Jeremy Hefner out there with the Mets. Andrew Haney, former OSU guy. You know, he's with the Angels now.
Matt Kemp
now with the Padres.
Can't forget about him.
Interesting to see if he kind of turns things around in San Diego. I mean, how could you not turn things around in San Diego? What better place could you want to play baseball in?
He's at least going to be happy.
Yeah.
With the weather.
Yeah. Well,
he might not be happy with the team.
I don't know, man. The Padres are looking a lot better than they have. But, I mean.
Is Tony Gwynn going to suit up for him?
Tony Gwynn?
Yeah. No. If they don't have Tony Gwynn, then I don't know anything else about the Padres. I can't name another Padre other than that.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
That's all I got.
Trevor Hoffman?
Nope.
Phil Nevin? Okay. All right.
Right over my head, man.
And Drew Rashinsky, former Union pitcher,
did see that.
Has a chance to make the bigs. Don't know if he'll start off with the Angels, but has a chance to, at some point, get some big league innings this year.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely watch that. Former Union kid, went and played college ball at Ohio State, I believe. But definitely keeping up with the local kids at the big league level as they start their opening day tomorrow, most of them starting on Monday. All right, it's time for our final segments, debate with the Your Take poll of the week right below our video player on OKPREPS.tv/roundup. We asked the question, who's going to win the large school all-state game? Ben, who do you think it is?
Which game are we talking about here?
Large school.
West. I mean, like I told you earlier today, I pulled up the East roster and I'm like, man, this team is pretty good. Then you open up the West roster and you're thinking, okay, yeah, this team's really good too, and these are the guys that came over to the east side and just completely steamrolled everyone.
Yep.
A.J. Cockrell got to the semifinals, but he was it. That was it.
I mean, Hayden Howell is on that West Side team. He was part of that state title. Jamie Woods and Douglas Moore, they held lead lot night to a state championship. And with 33 votes total, 64% believe the West is going to win the large school all-state game. I'm one of those votes as well. Too much firepower, man. I mean, just look at all the guys they got. And like you mentioned, that's a good point. They just got done coming over to the east side and taking what they wanted, which for the most of them were state championships.
I mean, when you have Chris Miller and A.J. Cockrell in the paint, you have to feel good about that. But they're gonna go up against Douglas Moore, Hayden Howe, Connor A. Vance, guys like that. So
Daquan Jeffries might even be playing in the post. So staying in the large school format, who do you think individual-wise is going to have the top performance come July?
I don't know, you almost want to say Daquan Jeffries maybe just to do a little showing off on the maybe center floor before he gets his college career started. But it's hard to not even though we're picking the West to win, you would think Shake Milton would have a big game before he heads off to SMU. That's where I would go.
Milton has 18% of the vote. He's actually third in the voting this week. Daquan Jeffries with the majority of the voting, 29%. My vote came in second at 20%. Chris Crawford. I think that's another guy who is about to go to ORU, playing on his new home floor. I think his game, I think he's going to at least go for 20 in this game.
Him guarding Daquan Jeffries could be interesting if it ever happens.
I don't know why. I don't know who would put Crawford on Daquan Jeffries, but
it's an all-star game. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Small school all-state game. As strongly as I feel about the West and the large school, I feel about the East. I think they got it handily.
Yeah, I'm with you there. We sat here and talked earlier about Kate Upshaw, Kelly Kemp, and a guy that almost got overlooked at Ty Lazenby, Glencoe. All the kid did in high school was score point after point after point.
Yep.
So I'd imagine he's probably not going to stray from that game plan come all-state time.
And not to forget Bobby Johnson of Atoka, another guy that on this roster. You can say it about the West one. For the large school, it's easy to overlook guys. You just continue to go and he's great.
Yeah, McKinley Whitfield.
Yeah, exactly. McKinley Whitfield, which who knows if he's actually going to be playing in it because he's signed to play football at TU. So
alternate.
Yeah, might be
get ready.
Might have to adjust this poll.
Right.
60% of the vote goes to the East, so they're right there along with us, 40% sticking with the West Side. Top performance from the small school. I know Chris Hamilton is just killing this vote from Heritage Hall. You take a look at it. 74% Heritage Hall coming out in a force. Believe that he's going to have the top performance. Personally, I think it's Cade Upshaw of Verdigris. I love his game, and I'm pretty much taking the same philosophy with Chris Crawford in this type of format. Dude can shoot the lights out of a gym, and I think he's going to do it in July. He only had 9% of the vote, but it's easy to get a low percentage when one dude's taking up 3/4 of it.
Yeah, the Heritage Hall crowd must have come out firing this morning after we talked to Tommy Riley. They just filling up the votes for
support after support
for Chris Hamilton. I love Ty Lazenby. I always, throughout his college career, high school career. I mean, like I just said, he's a scoring machine. I mean, I know we're talking Class A, Class B basketball, but when you can score, you can score.
He had a good performance at the Tournament of Champions when he was going up against some of the better teams in the state in the larger classes. So, I know that people say, well, he scored all those points against small schools. No, he scored 30-plus against big schools, too.
And he's just going to hand the reins off to his brother for a couple of years. So
only a freshman.
So the Lazenby name isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, plus dad is the head coach.
Exactly.
So they own Glencoe. I'm pretty sure the mom might be the mayor.
Probably.
I don't know. Unofficial. That's unofficial. All right, before we get out of here, we definitely want to mention next week we're going to have some interesting guests. The Pro 9 Classic going on in Owasso. The field is stacked. The Owasso Rams, Berry Hill, Tuttle, Jinx, Bishop Kelly. 5 really good teams all in the field. And coincidentally, 4 of them are in the field, are in their own pool, and Owasso has a pool all to themselves with some of the other teams. And where's the tournament being held?
I believe you said Owasso, correct?
I think it's at Owasso High School.
All right, Larry Turner.
Stacking the deck.
All right.
Nothing wrong with that. Look, hey, if you host your own tournament,
you get to call the shots.
It's your rules. That's
home turf. You get to call the shots.
You call out your own rules. That's what the deal is. Pro 9 tournament coming up. We're going to talk a lot about that. We're also going to just continue the baseball discussion, recruiting discussion. We're going to catch up on girls soccer next week and maybe dive on into the other spring sports as well. Golf, track, some of the other things. We opened it up this week, and it was a great segment. Enjoyed talking with Tommy Riley. So our thanks goes out to everybody who joined us on the program. Tommy Riley of Heritage Hall, Wayne Dozier of Carl Albert, Jimmy Harris of Stillwater, Austin Quillen of Jinx, for Ben Johnson, for our radio producer, Spencer Mayberry, for our OKPREPS producer, Joshua Stokes. We got 2 producers, double the production, double the impact. For Ben Johnson, once again, I'm Michael Knight. Be sure and tune in every single Saturday morning from 9 to 11, not only on your home for sports, sports animal, but also online on okpreps.tv/roundup. Have a good weekend, everybody.
This is Sean Garner, owner and head strength coach of Excel Performance Training. Being Oklahoma's only MBSC Thrive licensed facility, we're going to help athletes with injury reduction, avoid overuse injuries, and of course, get you bigger, faster, and stronger. We want you to be able to move properly in our controlled environment, so when you're playing on the field or court, it becomes second nature. All athletes will have a detailed workout plan and work in groups of less than 10 other athletes. So if you're ready to go all in and train with the pros, call us at 918-949-4223 or online at excelperformancetraining.com. Next season starts now with Excel Performance Training.